Hello, my name is AJ Chambers, and I'm here to just give you a quick tutorial on how you can record long distance interviews with experts and elected officials on topics that you may be covering using online video interviews. This became a big way for students to be able to interview people maybe they didn't have access to before during the pandemic. We learned the power of Zoom, the power of Google Meet, and all these other ways for you to record long distance interviews. So just the fact that you can record a Zoom or Google Meet or some other video software isn't enough to really get that crisp interview that you want. But please don't take this as a challenge. I have some easy tips to help you do these online interviews. Now take the challenge, interview those experts, those elected officials for those stories that maybe you wouldn't tackle because you didn't have access to them. But now with the internet and the way that we use video recording, you can. So when I mean setting up an online interview, I'm looking for something like this. This is the goal. This is what we would like to see. And I have a quick and easy way for you to remember what you need to do to set up that interview while you're doing it. And that is BELLS. BELLS. So we'll start with the B, which stands for background. All right. I know I'm not a good example of this because I'm not able to blur my background right now, but I did try to get an environment that would show you kind of something that wasn't distracting, but also show you the power of maybe some light coming in. So a couple things to think about when you think of the background. Try to encourage the person you're interviewing to either blur their background or get away from distracting things like messy rooms or even a messy bookshelf. I'm the type of person that will start organizing the bookshelf as you're talking. A really easy way to get past this is just to blur the background, or maybe even use one of those Zoom backgrounds that are already there. Just stay away from the cheesy ones. But the main thing you want about the background is that you want it to not be distracting from what the person is saying. So you have background for the B, and the E is for eyes. When you interview people, we trust them by their eyes. So one, we want to see both eyes. And two, it's the way you set up the frame. So you don't want to be too high up in the frame, therefore you have not enough headroom. And you want to be down low in the frame to where you're not following the rule of thirds. Now with online interviews, you can center the subject. You don't have to be to the left or the right of the rule of thirds. But what you do want to try to do is get the eyes on that top third line, which we call eyes on third. This allows me to see both eyes. It's centered in the screen, and now I can trust that person, or try to trust that person at least. A quick way to help your interviewee as you're doing this is they can tilt their screen up or down to get their eyes in place. So we have B, E, then the first L is level. This is probably the biggest way for you to amplify your interviews. And there's really easy ways to do it. So again, in the center, that's kind of what we're looking for. Her eyes are on that top third line. She's centered in the screen, and the camera is eye level. An easy way to do that is what I'm using, like a computer stand. But if you don't have a computer stand, you can easily just grab a stack of books, a box, whatever it may be. Try to elevate that computer a little bit to be eye level. It just makes it look more professional. So we have background, eyes, level, and next is light. And the basics with light is always the light goes behind the camera. So with that being said, you want to make sure you're not being backlit. So if you look on the one on the right, he's filming in front of a window. Well, the best way to do that is to turn and have the window facing the subject. That's the best light you're going to get, is that daylight. So open up that blind, turn the computer towards the window, and have that light just pelt onto you. Another one is if you're shooting without light on you and the light is in the background, you can get backlit. So watch out for those lights that are coming in. The easiest way to do this is like I said, with the window, but you could also just use a lamp. I have a desk lamp right here giving me light. You can use a fancy ring light if you have one, if you're a TikTok star or whatever that may be. But for the most part, you just want some light behind the camera to make sure we can see the person's face and just avoid being backlit. So we have background, eyes, level, light, and the final one is S, which is sound. Obviously, that's going to be really important because you want to hear what the person is saying. So the easiest way is to use maybe some AirPods or something with a microphone, but if they don't have access to that, it's fine. I don't have that right now where I am, and hopefully you can hear me just fine. A couple of things we forget about are our pet friends. If they're barking or whining or scratching, that can be distracting during the interview. So try to get them out of the room. And then also if there's any background noise, maybe that's people talking, maybe it's a fan, Maybe it's a really loud appliance. I'm not saying turn off your air conditioning in the middle of the summer, but I am saying if it's distracting, you want to be able to modify that with using a microphone or something so we can hear that audio really, really well. So again, you can use these tips to shoot these interviews with people that maybe you wouldn't have access to. Maybe it's the mayor of your city. Maybe it's an elected official. Maybe it's an expert on the topic that you're doing. Maybe it's a professor who's written a peer-reviewed article about what you're researching. You can now get access to them using these online interviews, and using bells, background, eyes, level, light, sound will really help you make it crisp and professional. So I hope this helps you, and happy interviewing.